Inside this hall are distinguished scholars from the Nottingham Trent University, United Kingdom, and their counterparts from one of Nigeria's leading private universities, Covenant University. This two-day workshop centered on advancing technology for impact, specifically on the Smart Berry project and the STEM 4.0 project. The collaboration between both institutions, among others, also highlighted the power of science and innovation in solving some pressing societal challenges. For them, the SmartBerry project demonstrated how artificial intelligence and special technologies can revolutionize strawberry farming in Nigeria, starting with Jos, Plateau State, as a case study by creating new economic opportunities for farmers and strengthening food security in the country.
And when we say crops that are non-native to Nigeria, also being consumed here in Nigeria, what we are trying to do is to bridge the gap on importation. Strawberry, that is actually the subject here, the main crop which we are talking about, is important and costs the federal government quite a lot of money to be imported. That crop is so important as it's used as food, it's used as fruits, it's used to make jams, and also used to make medications.
I think it's a very interesting approach to put two different universities from two different countries together and transfer knowledge from one area to another, specifically from Europe or more developed kind of area to countries like Nigeria. If we can share their experiences, especially with computing, especially with AI, this is what we want to achieve, to share what we know with the people here, and hopefully they will be able to benefit from what we have learned and by sharing this experience.
On the STEM 4.0 project, which centered on education, according to the participants, it will help foster international knowledge exchange.
It means that it will also help people in the villages, people across the villages where education is hard to reach will also begin to experience this by the time they begin to use this application. Meaning that my grandmother, who may not be able to speak English, will also have her own local language domiciled on this platform.
Yeah, one of the key things that the British Council is focused on when we design these programs is that these partnerships and these collaborations improve positive student outcomes. So when students have access to programs like this, when learners have access to contextualized learning, we hope that it improves their, not just their academic outcomes, but their employability outcomes as well. So that's one of the key outcomes we're looking forward for this kind of initiative.
The world is fast evolving, things are happening very, very fast, and people are taking advantage of technology. And we don't want our learners in Nigeria and in Africa to be left behind. So that's why we are trying to see how artificial intelligence can be incorporated to help learners learn better. You know, in our current world now, the time interaction between teachers and learners are limited. So, but with the advent of technology, artificial intelligence, you will see that the students can continue to interact with the materials of lecture that the lecturer has provided, and continue to engage 24/7 with their course content.
The take-home from here as the workshop comes to an end is that technology can be harnessed in the long run for a meaningful development to impact on the students and the nation, Nigeria at large. Obinume, AIT News, Lagos.